8 o'clock now? Yes?
On the dot, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Do you see my screen with the brochure for today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Good. So, welcome everybody. This is Vijayadas Udupa 88 batch mechanical from Bangalore. And with me, another person is absent, our friend Sujan Gowda. Anyway, we have the coordinators, Mr. Sanjeet and Sudhir, taking us through today's session. And today's topic is Internet of Things. Last time we had Industry 4.0, and continuing in the same domain, somewhat similar, but yeah, Internet of Things. And welcome. And today's speakers are Mr. Pradeep Kumar from US and Mr. Ranjeev Singh from Pune. So our coordinators will take us through. Thank you very much. Welcome again. Mr. Sanjeet, over to you.
Thank you, Udupa sir, and good morning, everybody. We had started a series with Industry 4.0 in the last session, and this time we're dovetailing it into one of the important cogwheels of Industry 4.0, which is the Internet of Things. Can we go to the next slide, sir? Udupa sir? Yeah, so the agenda for today is briefly we'll talk about the topic itself. And Sudhir Bakshi, my immediate senior from 93 batch, who's also in this domain, will kind of introduce the topic and give us more insights rather than the layman perspective that maybe most of us in this call may have otherwise. We then have our first speaker, Mr. Pradeep P Kumar of 1983 mechanical batch. He's the CEO of Fleetilla, which is a US-based company. The topic is perspectives from an IoT solution provider. After that, we'll have Ranjeev Singh, who's a 95 batch ENC and founder of ClairViz Technologies, talking about what is done in the manufacturing industry specifically and what he's doing there. We follow it with a Q&A, so I request all of you to kind of park your questions till the Q&A session. We'll have introductions and brief updates from alumni who are in the IoT domain. About 5 people will talk. Followed by a briefing by our president of the Bangalore chapter, Mr. Basavaraj Deodurg. And finally, a vote of thanks, and we will try to get nominations for coordinators for the next event, which will be the third Wednesday of the next month. We can move forward with that. Yeah, so just some housekeeping activities. Those of you who are new to this, others may know it. Kindly keep your audio on mute. We don't want background sounds coming from various people. We also request you to hold your questions for the Q&A session. There is a specific Q&A session at the later time in the day, at about 9-10. And, preferably you can put your questions on the chat window so that if there is some moderation to be done of similar types of questions, Sudhir and I can combine it and pose it to the speakers. So we'll save some time there. And lastly, we do have a photo session at some point of time, which you will have to switch on your mobiles. Many of us will have our switch on your videos. Many of us will have our videos off. So please do that at that hour when we request you to come for the photograph. That's the best we can do. Normally we have this in person where all of us could stand together and take a photograph. But this is what the best we can do in the offline, online mode where we are all on Zoom. So with that, we can go to the next slide. Just a brief introduction from a layman perspective. All of us must be familiar to some degree with Internet of Things. I think given the advent of mobile technologies particularly and the improvements happening from 3G to 4G, and hopefully soon we'll have 5G, more and more devices will get connected to the internet, and a lot of things that are done manually today in terms of monitoring, self-correction, and so on will move to Internet of Things. We are seeing it coming into our home. Probably most of us didn't have anything which was like an Internet of Things enabled product in our house, but sooner or later each of us have something or the other, whether you have a Alexa in your house, or you have some kind of a security system which works through it's connected to the net with a mobile SIM, and which can then send signals to the controller, to smart devices like the refrigerators and vacuum cleaners, and there are so many other devices that have come to smart air conditioners and all of that. So we have seen Internet of Things come into our home, and we may be to some degree familiar with that. But in today's session, we will go to see how it has been used in the industry, and particularly in the manufacturing industry, and of course in the fleet management industry. We'll have some perspectives on that. Now, that's a layman's perspective. I will hand it over to Sudhir Bakshi, who's in this space, to kind of give some more details before we get our esteemed speakers to talk. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjeet, and good morning to everybody. Thanks for giving me a chance to host part of this program. My name is Sudhir Bakshi. I come from 93 batch, and I have been involving myself in IoT business since last more than 10 years. I was doing a lot of 3G, 4G work earlier, and then I have started my own company. So next slide, please. Okay, a very brief overview about me. My company is already involved in industrial IoT, remote monitoring, telematics, and other products. I'll not be taking much time on that because Mr. Pradeep would be taking all these topics in detail. So Traxter is one of the leading player in India and is growing very fast. In case anything technical guidance or inquiry or anything needs to be known, you can always contact me. The next slide, please. So as Sanjeet said, Internet of Things, we have reached to a stage where the computer's compute power alone is not enough. Now our desire and inquisitive is pushing us to go ahead. We want to connect many things. We want to surpass the human abilities. We want to surpass our brain compute power and all the connections. So the only way to achieve this is Internet of Things, which I would be covering in next few slides in a very non-technical way. Next slide, please, sir. Yeah. So basically, if we see, industry has evolved in last 200 to 300 years of time, and the sole reason which is pushing us ahead in the technology and the development front is that humans are very inquisitive kind of nature we have. We want to do things very fast. We want to see everything on this earth and the universe, and we want to have power. So we started using steam engines, thermal power way back in 1760. Then we started moving in cars, started producing in a mass production in a second wave of revolution in say 1870. 1970, we saw automation coming into the picture, and computers started taking over the human work slowly. And we can say last 2 decades, we have seen industrial IoT coming in a big way, where the sensors are connected, analytics have been taking place, and a lot of compute power, a lot of interconnections of internet using wireless, optical fiber, and other sources. Now we are in a current stage where Industry 4.0, where Ranjeev would be talking much. We have reached to.
Sir, we lost your voice, sir. You went on mute.
Is it fine?
Yeah, it's fine now.
Now we can do that.
Yeah, so the only reason which is pushing us ahead for innovation is a person sitting inside our skull who's having only a direction and the speed. And we are going decades after decades towards the innovation. The next slide, please. There was a time when we passed out in some time, the computers took over and humans were controlling the computers. We were developing the software. Infosys were coming into the picture, Satyams, Wipro, and many companies across the world. And we thought we have reached to a stage which is a developed world. But over the period, the internet has come into the picture, the compute power has increased, the interconnections have increased. Next slide, please. Next. The next one. Yeah. We are reaching to a stage where even human intelligence, writing software, human intelligence, working, all the kind of development is not enough. Our desire is more, our fire in the belly is much more. We want more. We want to go to Mars. We want to do things in a fraction of second between US and India. We want to take corrective measures very fast. So now slowly humans are also getting replaced by the computers, which are robots. It can be analytics. It can be many other things which we'll see in a time to come. And reason for that is, can you see the previous one, sir? Why we are doing this? Because our processes over the period have become very complex and demanding. We don't have any other option now without, we cannot get away from IoT. All the industry segments have transformed digitally. Traditional methods are almost gone. Human errors have no place. We cannot afford a person to go take a reading, start a pump and come back. No, this is not going to happen. And that too, the geographical spread has also increased. So machine to machine has come into the picture. Artificial intelligence is coming. Machine learnings are coming. Big data is coming. When big data comes, you cannot escape from IoT. The next one, please, sir. Next one. We are heading towards what we have seen in Avengers or Iron Man. We would have a suit, we would have display, all sensors. We just think, blink our eye and thing would be done. We're heading towards that. And IoT is a transformational stage. It's a transition phase. So this is not the end. This is just the beginning, and we are entering into new era where humans will do wonders and humans will also do disasters in case if we are not able to control them. Next one, please. Next slide, please. Hello, Udupa sir. Yeah. A little bit basics of technology which I would touch. In IoT, we have a huge range of sensors which are spreaded and installed across the industry, across the homes, people, everywhere. They just sense a particular parameter, push it to the internet cloud using some gateway, and push it to the just one. Hello. Push it to the cloud. And then we have analytics using IoT, and then human interface will see. The next one, please, sir. Yeah, so this is very brief. I can talk on technical, but I think Pradeep sir and Mr. Ranjeev will talk much depth in technology, but things are moving very fast. So I would welcome Mr. Pradeep Kumar, who is going to be our first speaker. I would give a little brief about him. He passed out in 1983, and now he's been running his company Fleetilla since last 21 years. In this, I have seen his work in last couple of days. He has done a lot of work on telematics. He has done a lot of work on analytics, IoT, and he has seen that journey, how it started, how it evolved, and where it has reached. And I had spoken to him, and he has very good vision that how things are gonna shape up in next couple of decades. So he also worked for Bokun, IBM before starting his Fleetilla. So I would request Mr. Pradeep to come and share his insight about IoT, how it has happened, what was the journey, where we are, and what do you think, sir, where it would be, and how we all can get benefited from this. So I welcome Mr. Pradeep on the board. So Mr. Pradeep, over to you, sir.
Sudhir, thank you. And Vijay, thanks for this opportunity. Is everyone able to see my screen?
Okay.
All right.
Yes,
Okay. So I am from the 1983 batch. And those who are not familiar with this 83 batch, this is one of the finest groups of engineers and NITK, KRC ever produced. So with that, so in terms of agenda, I want to spend a few slides about Fleetilla. That's the organization that I've been involved with for the last 21 years, and then go into the general IoT, its benefits, what are some of the things to think about while building an IoT organization, some of the technologies inside, trends and business models. So really 8 different topics. I will try to kind of wrap this up in the 20 minutes that's allotted. Of course, my perspective is going to be that of a B2B provider of IoT, primarily selling IoT to businesses, and also as a solution provider, and essentially dealing with things that are moving or movable. So this is what we do. We provide real-time intelligence from things, assets of these types of assets. We are based in the US, but our solutions are deployed in many countries outside of North America as well. There are two branches to the solutions that we provide. One is solutions for powered assets. So these are vehicles, construction equipment, trucks, cars, and things like that are moving around. Since there is power available, the data can be pretty granular. It goes far beyond the location to what's the fuel flow, is the engine misfiring, are there sensors, temperature sensors, and when did it arrive, is the driver driving the vehicle properly, and all sorts of things like that. The second is more centered around supply chain visibility, which is it is not the asset. It is a cargo that is being traced. So most of these types of assets lack any kind of built-in source of power. So it is done using long life battery powered devices. Again, condition monitoring, orientation changes, alerts when things are arriving and departing, and things of that nature are provided. Now, jumping further into the broader IoT, you may have heard the term telemetry being used starting in the 70s. So what's that? What's the difference between that and IoT? It's important to, I think, understand that before we get into any deeper discussion about IoT. So as Sudhir indicated, one thing to realize is that IoT consists of 3 different things. There is some sort of hardware device. There is some form of connectivity, wireless, and an application. All 3 combined, working together, is the IoT. So the device, network, and applications come into play. So I'm showing a picture here from, I don't know, 60s or 70s or something. It's a rocket being launched, and real-time data is being sent from that launch back into a control station where it is being displayed on screens. So this is known as telemetry. Similar types of systems exist in all sorts of manufacturing plants, continuous process industries, where data is collected and displayed. So would this be IoT? So it's IoT is a loose definition, but the term IoT is used more for mainstream modular open type of systems that are connected to public networks, public wireless networks like cellular, satellite, and all that. The kind of satellite launch telemetry system that I showed is more closed, used within an enterprise. It's very tightly coupled, mission critical. IoT that way is less mission critical. So the question is, why? What changed? Why did it? How did it come about? And of course, the Internet of Things would not have existed without the Internet. There is the availability of a public wireless network, so you don't have to build some sort of proprietary wireless communication scheme. There is the GNSS, so GPS is available, cloud and map data, and we've been in this from the right from the beginning. So 2000, when we started, Google Maps did not exist. IoT as a term wasn't there. GNSS only in 1998, that became through a process called selective availability. It became the accuracy substantially increased. Wireless networks were not data networks, it was analog. So I mean, we've kind of gone through this kind of building many things with bare hands, but all of these things are available now, creating that perfect storm for IoT to kind of become mainstream. So this brings the question of why IoT? What's the benefit that's offering? So it's ultimately, if you look at the general trend, more and more things are being monitored, measured, digitized. That is the trend. And to manage anything, you must first digitize it and you must first measure it. And that's really what IoT is all about. It's about uncovering hidden patterns that wouldn't have been possible otherwise. It's about managing things remotely. So when I said design better products, so if you are trying to sell SUVs all over India and you want to know whether the engine is misfiring in the sub-zero temperatures in Kashmir and it's not misfiring in, let's say, Kerala, you wouldn't have to wait for somebody to come and complain about it. If you have telematics or connected technology built into that, you would know that immediately, and you can design better products. You can make the supply chains better. You don't have to, there is that expectation on the consumer space that you ship something, you can track it, but that doesn't really happen with things that are moving around in the commercial, industrial type things. Supply chains are still pretty hidden. Somebody could sit at home and their vital health statistics, heart and all that data can be sent remotely to a hospital. The power grid can be smarter. You may have 10,000 pieces of equipment distributed all over the country, but 2,000 of those are not used or not used effectively unless and until you have real-time data coming in from these things. You wouldn't know that. And of course, the factories can run better and so on and so forth. So again, getting back to the ground reality of, let's say, you're trying to run an IoT business. What are some of the things to consider from an organizational standpoint? This is not as a user of IoT, but let's say you're trying to build an IoT business. So the profitable IoT initiatives, whether it's a standalone IoT business or a profit center within a larger organization, is IoT is a scale-based business. So these predictions, this is from a couple of years back, 75 billion assets to be, or devices to be connected, 3 to 11 trillion in value to be created. So that if that value is shared between someone providing the IoT service and someone consuming it, you divide that in half and then divide that by the 75 billion. What you're going to get is each connection is only going to generate just a few dollars every month. So how do you make money running a business if each of your connections will only generate a few dollars a month? You have to think large scale, and you have to run that operation with low overheads. So it's very important to design and architect systems where very large number of connections can be made. And it's also important to realize that these IoT devices would be sending data continuously. So these are some of the scale is achieved via appropriate architecture. Now, how do you ensure that your overheads are low? There is only one good way to do that is to ensure that what you sell is robust, doesn't cause a lot of service calls. If you sell a device that's going to generate $3 a month and you have 4 service calls every month, it's just not going to be profitable business. So it's very important to build robust devices. Very, very important to be able to remotely diagnose issues. You may have to change the firmware of the devices that are deployed over there. So all these capabilities have to be built into the IoT devices that you're building. Another aspect to think while you're trying to build an IoT business is typically, if you're selling a DVD player, when you sell the player, the company makes a certain amount of money, but that isn't how this works. You bring a customer, you may be subsidizing the hardware, you may have to train the customer over a period of time, use the software. So all of this results in a negative cash flow for the business, and eventually the customer becomes well-versed in the use of your products, and they become profitable. So the organization and the service focus should be geared towards retaining customers over very long periods of time. If customers are moving away from your business every year, you will only be spending money on your customers. So it's very important to realize that long-term customer relationship, providing a robust solution, these are critical to a sustainable IoT business. So all of this is bringing that idea that customer service is pretty critical in IoT. And one thing to realize is that customer service shouldn't be taken as something, anybody who can answer the phone and send an email isn't a customer service person. There are 3 things involved in IoT again: the hardware, the connectivity, and the application. And a problem can come as a result of a loose wire, a loose connection, a coverage issue, RF interference, all of this. So you want people who are able to, who have had some real world experience, who can understand the context in which the IoT is being deployed, as opposed to just being well-versed in the software. So more well-rounded people are needed to do the customer support in IoT. One more item to think about while managing an IoT business is the continuous change that is happening in the cellular technology area. So 2G is becoming 3G, is becoming 4G. Spectrum is a limited resource, as we all know. So it is being reused and reprovisioned. 5G will get deployed on the spectrum that was, let's say, used for 2G. Now, in the US, we have gone through 2 technology sunsets, already analog and 2G, and we are going through a third one, that is 3G, being sunset by the end of this year. A sunset of that nature hasn't happened in India, but it is the nature of things. It will happen. So why is that important? It doesn't really affect the consumer space that much, because consumers aren't keeping their phones that long. But when you are wiring a generator set, or you're putting something on a machine and then deploying it widely, you want it to last the life of the asset, which may be 15, 20 years or even more. But if the technology only lasts, the wireless technology only lasts 6 years or 7 years or 10 years, you need to figure out how to provide the service continually, because that, at that time when the sunset is happening, there is going to be churn. And more than that, customers are going to be unhappy. You can say everything about somebody else is doing the sunset, but that is a critical issue, and that is to be considered while you're running an IoT business. All right, just a little bit about how do you engineer an IoT solution. So here are some considerations for, let's say, designing a cargo device. Okay, is it going to be battery powered or wired? Where is it going to be deployed? North America, Europe, Africa, or is it going from one place to another? Does it need location indoors and outdoors? And what's the form factor, and what's the type of safety ratings that it needs to have, and then you go into the type of technologies that need to be installed. Is it would it work on a Bluetooth, or would it need a 3G or 4G? If it's satellite, would it be able to transmit from indoors? And these kinds of considerations come in. And then, of course, the data handling aspects. I'm not going into details and all that. So this slide, I thought I'll just kind of touch upon a few of the trends that are happening now. It's being implemented into products, or it's being considered. So location on the outside, it's available via GPS, but it doesn't work indoors. And there are a lot of items, from pallets to oxygen cylinders to all kinds of things that go indoors. It may be in one warehouse, then it's on the road, it goes into another warehouse, sits there, and then goes to another building, and so on. So ability to provide a seamless indoor and outdoor location, that's an area of some activity that's going on. Video, just like I'm sure you guys are all seeing cameras everywhere, because a camera is a great data acquisition tool, and video on trucks and cars, that's happening, and video coupled with AI on that. New type of trend that's or development that is happening is low power sensor to satellite network. So there have always been systems that send data to satellite, but they were never low power. So these kinds of systems I'm talking about are stuff that can last on 2 AA batteries and send to a satellite directly, just bypassing our cell networks. And so agriculture, forestry, wildlife, stuff in the ocean, all of that potentially could use these kinds of things. I don't think any of these networks are fully operational, but there is a lot of activity going on there. May have heard of Apple Find My and Amazon Sidewalk. So what these are not new networks, but Amazon Sidewalk's trying to use their own Ring cameras, or Apple Find My uses iPhones. There are about 1 billion iPhones deployed all over now. Those could be access points for other IoT devices. So it's like a new kind of omnipresent network that over which other IoT data can kind of get transported. And then of course there is the emergence of what's called the LPWAN or low power wide area networks. So this picture here is showing the evolution of cellular technology, 2G, went to 3G and 4G, higher bandwidth, higher cost, higher power type systems. But somewhere along the line, about a few years back, people realized IoT type devices just do not require the kind of high bandwidth. If you are just sending temperature once every minute, you're just sending, two numbers or, one or two numbers. You don't need the bandwidth that is offered by 4G or 5G. And nor do you want to pay for it, nor do you want devices consuming that kind of power. So the technology has taken another branch called LTE Cat 1, NB IoT, and so on and so forth, which are basically an overlay on the standard cellular network. It is an IoT specific network. And again, of course, there are two branches to that. US, I think India is deploying NB IoT. I just saw a news item of Reliance Jio deploying NB IoT for data distributor, data electric utility. So they're using NB IoT for that. LTE CATM is what is mostly deployed in the US. There are also other separate networks that are coming out, LoRa and Sigfox, and I'm sure some of the other colleagues may be speaking on that. Overall idea here is that all of these are very IoT specific networks as opposed to riding on the general consumer cellular technology that existed. Business models and market opportunities. So how are people making money on IoT? So primary method as that of a solution provider, that is a subscription-based business model where it's not different than a cellular phone type thing where you may buy the phone and then there is a monthly subscription fee. Asset monitoring, classic example of that type of a model. Second one is basically free. I mean, it's sort of like the Google, Facebook type thing, but much more serious where, you may get a connected car or connected equipment, but they are getting data on how you are using this piece of equipment, and then that is monetized in some manner. Third, I am just calling it IoT++, where it's basically you may be an ERP solutions provider or someone who makes dispatching software or asset maintenance or asset management. These are very full-fledged standalone systems on their own, and IoT is added as a module into that. IoT, part of that is a data collection mechanism. It's part of an overall solution that you're offering. Then there are the IoT enabled business models where you could potentially sell, I don't think a lot of this is happening. You could sell a pump or a motor or something where instead of charging money upfront, you could charge it based on usage, and that usage is conveyed back to you via some sort of IoT device. Insurance telematics, this has become pretty mainstream where, an IoT device is plugged into a car and your insurance rates is determined by your usage. If you are driving your car quite a bit, your rates would be lower, and if you're driving quite a bit, your rates would be higher. So it's a usage-based scheme. Sharing, your classic Uber is kind of an example of knowing the real-time location of the asset and sharing that location to leverage other types of offerings. So, all right. So for those interested, what does the opportunity look like? So one thing to realize, most of the things, I mean, when I'm saying things, these are equipment, tools, cargo, all kinds of stuff out there. Most of them are still not connected, which means the opportunity is compelling and very large. Why aren't they connected? Because it is still, it's like if you have the right electric car, sky is the limit for how many of those you can sell, right? You need to, finding the low cost, widely usable, robust solutions needed to address the potential is emerging, and it will continue to emerge over the next several years. Another important fact to realize is there's a lot of data being collected from the ones that are connected, but no more than 1%. I don't know how that was determined, but it's a study from McKinsey. No more than 1% of that data is actually put to decision-making use. So guiding the customer on how to use IoT data itself could be a pretty important, profitable type of venture. And I guess that's all I have.
Very fascinating presentation. Would it be possible to share this later on?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. I'm Rajshekar from the 84 batch.
Thank you, Mr. Pradeep. So, hi, Sanjeet. Can we, move ahead on this?
Yeah, hi. Let's move ahead. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Pradeep. Thank you very much. That was very insightful. Wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
So we move on to the next topic. It's my pleasure to introduce Ranjeev Singh. Ranjeev is from the 1995 batch, and he studied electronic and communications at NITK. He has experience in IoT and is the co-founder and head of products and technologies at ClairViz Systems, which is into industrial IoT. So he'll give us some insights on what he does and how IoT is being used in the manufacturing industry. Prior to starting his own venture, Ranjeev has spent time, worked in companies like Larsen & Toubro, Invensys, as well as spent a long duration of time at Capgemini. So it's my pleasure to welcome Ranjeev Singh. Ranjeev, over to you.
Thank you, Sanjeet. Thank you. Let me share my screen.
Pradeep, you have to stop sharing, I think, right?
Yeah. Pradeep, sir, can you please stop sharing it on your side? Thank you so much.
Sorry about that.
No worries, sir. Thank you. Ranjeev, take it away. Yeah, it's yours.
Thank you, Sanjeet. Hope you can see my screen.
Yeah. Yes, please. We can.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Brief introduction about me quickly. As Sanjeet has already mentioned, I actually started with L&T in 95. Worked in L&T for 4.5 years in the industrial automation domain, where I learned how to work with PLCs, SCADA systems, how to automate the systems, okay, how to automate the complete assembly lines, R&D processes. So I worked with companies for automating their entire plants, cement plants, okay, steel plants, galvanizing lines, or blast furnace, and those kind of plants. Then I moved to software side, worked with companies like Invensys, Capgemini, and in 2015, I, along with my colleague from L&T, we started ClairViz Systems, and that's mainly for providing smart manufacturing products and solutions. Okay, so my co-founder has worked in this domain for around 20 years, 22 years in the industrial automation domain. I worked initially in the industrial automation domain, and then I moved towards software side. So we decided to build products and provide industry smart manufacturing solutions. In last 5 years, we have worked with companies in India like Mahindra, Aditya Birla Group, HPCL, NLMK, and many others. And we have seen the journey, how the Industry 4.0 or smart manufacturing technologies are being adopted by them. So in today's session, I'll share my experience, how this is helping them, how they are leveraging IoT for their benefit. Quickly, 20 minutes, I think I'll try to cover as much as possible. IoT and its impact on our lives is well known to everyone, whether it's a smart home automation, smart TVs, or energy meters, smart coffee machines, self-driving cars. Okay, so IoT is everywhere. So a lot of data getting generated, being pushed to cloud. We are running AI, ML algorithms to predict the failures or the quality. So the IoT is everywhere. So when it comes to manufacturing industry, what we call as the third revolution, okay, this is mainly the use of PLCs, controllers, SCADA systems for automation of the processes or the assembly lines. Industry 4.0 has took us to next level. Okay, collecting data from sensors, factory operators, supervisors, and other enterprise systems. Okay, so the new manufacturing imperatives. When we go to a factory, we see a lot of, there are machines, there are sensors, okay, and if we are not actually using Industry 4.0 technologies, what we see is the planning system is not integrated. We get plans through the paper printout, okay, or through emails, but the system is not integrated with the shop floor systems. Production data is captured and fed into the ERP systems manually. There is no integration. Downtime data, which is again collected manually, and then the reports are provided to management in a scheduled manner. Quality data or quality system is not integrated. Now, these are the challenges what we have seen in the manufacturing industry, and it is difficult to actually tell the real-time production of a line. So if you have to see the real-time KPIs in a manufacturing plant, unless we integrate all these systems, it is difficult to tell the real-time what is the production happening, what is my OEE, what is the availability or the performance of a factory. So I can't do proper analysis unless I have all these systems integrated, unless I have the data getting collected from these sensors is being actually processed real time. So these are the challenges what we see in the manufacturing industry. I'll try to cover these things and look at how we provide solution or the products to actually give a holistic or the integrated view to the management. Well, as I said, when we collect data, if it is in a scheduled manner, okay, if I provide the reports, my performance reports or the downtime reports in a scheduled manner, end of day or end of week, it's not real-time visibility to IoT management, and it is taking decisions, quick decisions, becomes extremely difficult. Now, see, in today's dynamic world, we need information to actually quick information to make quick decisions. We need to be customer focused, not what we can produce. We need predictive information so that we can take timely decisions. We need to be efficient. How can I make best use of available resources? Lot of competition. Okay, unless we are the only player, price is actually decided by market. Only way we can improve our margins is how efficient we are. Decision making is actually decision making depends a lot on data these days. Now, the COVID has actually changed our thinking and ways of running business. If we have to survive, we have to use digital methods, Industry 4.0 technologies, with the reduced manpower. As you all know, I think in the lockdowns, we are working with 30% manpower. So unless our systems are integrated, unless our systems are digitized, it is difficult to run factories efficiently. There is human dependency, but the more we reduce it and bring it to monitoring level, better for us. If, let's say, we put sensors and provide the real-time information to our associates or to the management who are working from home, and they can monitor it, we can improve our efficiencies. Now, these are some of the benefits. The studies are done every year. Could be different, I think, in last year or previous 2 years. So these are a little bit old. The potential improvements in labor efficiency 10 to 25% because of the use of Industry 4.0 technologies. Inventory carrying cost saving 20 to 50%, productivity improvements. We have also seen this up to 20%. Forecasting accuracy up to 85%. Maintenance cost by predictive maintenance, or if we use the digital methods, up to 40%. We have also got the products in this space. Reduction in total maintenance downtime, so 30 to 50%. Now, digital enterprise or the connected factory. See, what we have is the ERP system. Okay, the planning system is there. Then you have your factory shop floor where the machines, the supervisors are actually operating the machine. So what data we get is the process data, the speed, temperature, okay, everything. Hello.
Good, Ranjeev, we can hear you.
Okay. So then the data what we get, in fact, the operators operate, they feed in data like batch details, stoppage reasons, the SKU details and all that. So unless we integrate everything, okay, we cannot actually provide the actionable intelligence or the real-time data to our management, manufacturing head or operations head. So the integration part of the all systems which are there on a factory is very critical, and the data what we get from factory machines or the equipments or the sensors is through IoT, and then we use other technologies like analytics, AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning to do the predictions. IoT, as Pradeep sir has beautifully covered before. So in manufacturing space, we are using to connect data from machines, okay, the sensors, other the factory operators systems, and the BI we are using to actually how we can make best use of data, how to generate value, to do the in-depth analysis. Okay, so this is it's very high level. Okay, at the bottom layer, what we see is we have factory. The physical equipments are the data sources. Okay, we have the sensors which are present there to collect data like temperature sensors or the pressure sensors. Okay, the sensors to calculate the production, to calculate the rejections. Okay, the speed and those sensors. So the data from these sensors is fed into PLCs, the SCADA systems, okay, which is already part of Revolution 3, the Industry 3, what we call it. So now in Industry 4.0, we take it further. We collect to sensors directly, or we can connect to the PLCs or the SCADA system, collect acquire data from these devices. Okay, we can process this data, we can generate alerts and notifications real time. Okay, we can do analytics, we can run the predictive algorithms, okay, for predictive quality or maintenance. And this provides actually the holistic or the integrated view to the management. This is another view. Okay, we here, so the real-time performance, early warnings, breakdowns. Okay, so it's a reference architecture for Azure. So how we have things on the left side, we have edge devices, we have gateway, and from the gateway, we can do the real-time analytics, real-time processing to generate the condition-based monitoring alerts or alerts based on some rules. We can do data transformation, store in a warm path, which is used frequently, cold path. Okay, we can run AI, ML algorithms. Okay, so now, okay, so in when we go to the factory or shop floor, they actually monitor some KPIs. Okay, or they have key objectives they want to achieve from any smart manufacturing initiative. Now, predictive, proactive maintenance. Let's say if we can predict failure of some machine, we can prevent the breakdown. Okay, we can prevent the shutdown of the factory. Shutdown if we can predict the quality, okay, and we can stop the process and start it again. So we save the time and money. Real-time visibility into operation. So what is my current performance? Am I running at the rated performance, or am I running below the rated performance? What are the reasons for it? Can we figure out why it's running below rated performance? So all these KPIs actually can be only calculated once we have data from the factory devices, from operators. Okay, so challenges what we typical challenges what we face on factory in a factory is there are a lot of machines and from different OEMs. No integration is a big challenge. Some of the machines are old machines where data collection is a problem. They don't provide, you cannot collect data from those machines directly. So ever changing needs of clients, manual performance management. If you are actually doing the performance management manually, collecting data manually, and then providing reports. So these are the challenge everywhere if we are not using digital systems properly. The KPIs, key KPIs, these are in production. What we see is the real-time production, OE productivity. On the health side of the equipment, what we want to see is predictive alerts. If we get predictive alerts about the failure or the remaining useful life, then we can do the root cause analysis. On the quality side, if we can get the batch-wise or SKU-wise the quality, and we can do the analysis, so we can take quick actions. I'm running a little bit fast because of time. Okay. Similarly, on the batch side, if we can do the performance analysis, or we can do analysis at the batch level, at the asset level, product level. So these kind of reports management needs, and these reports are generated. Now the implementation considerations quickly, because there are so many machines, so different OEMs. Okay, some of the manufacturers actually do not share or they lock the controllers. So these are typical challenges what we face when we go for implementation of smart manufacturing systems. So quickly, what I'll cover what we are doing in this space, what ClairViz is doing in this space. We have got two products, mainly two products. One is the real-time shop floor analytics product. What we do there is we provide real-time KPIs like your real-time production, your shift-wise production, your productivity, your performance, your availability, downtime. So this is one product which we actually, the first one which we actually built, and we have worked with companies like Aditya Birla, Arvind, HPCL, where this product is running, NLMK, Mahindra. The other product what we have is again is on the maintenance side, digital maintenance, and this is IoT enabled product. When I say IoT enabled, the other products which are there in market, they are simply software products. They are not IoT products. When I say IoT products, I can integrate this product using IoT sensors and create real-time alerts. So, for example, if there is any temperature or pressure limit getting breached, or if any motor is going down, what this can do is this can create real-time alerts, and it can send SMS or send emails to the users actually who are mapped to monitor those assets. So other than this, we have also other products, but briefly I'll cover only these two products. Sanjeet, can I run video quickly? So if you have time.
Yeah, okay. How long is the video, Ranjeev?
I think three minutes.
Okay, you can play it, no problem. In the meantime, those of you who have questions, kindly put it on the chat window so that we can consolidate it. It's okay if Ranjeev, it's okay if it doesn't come through. Okay, yeah, great. All right.
use it to predict the outcomes he wants. So, what can be the solution for many such problems? ClairViz's Osprey Smart Factory solution is the best option to overcome these challenges. ClairViz is a technology company providing cutting-edge solutions for digitization of various industries. It has deep focus on creating smart factories and workplaces by leveraging technologies like Internet of Things, or IoT, data analytics, machine learning, Internet of Services or cloud, and big data. ClairViz strongly believes in Industry 4.0 and has invested in building expertise and capability to help clients achieve their goals in a timely and cost-effective manner. Its products and solutions provide deep insights into end-to-end factory processes. It helps clients achieve profitable growth through data-driven intelligence and make them more competitive and efficient while delivering products exceeding customer expectations. ClairViz's Osprey Smart Factory solution starts with adding sensors throughout the factory. Monitoring of production flow in real time eliminates waste and unnecessary work in production with the help of the sensors installed. All the data gathered by the sensors is sent to the cloud for analysis and creating predictive models. Not only this will help engineers in implementing condition-based maintenance alerts to eliminate machine downtime and increase output by predicting machine failure, but also helps to manage machines remotely. With the collected data from sensors, operations managers can see their production line status and recommend adjustments to manage operational costs using data visualization tools. The company can get insights from the usage patterns of multiple locations and track their equipment failure, enabling them to re-engineer products for better performance. It also helps management to identify resource and asset utilization gaps to reduce costs. With all these solutions, manufacturing plants can now tap into data with ready-made dashboards to take intelligent decisions. This will in turn modernize plants with a combination of sensors, cloud infrastructure, data analytics, and visualizations to create a smart manufacturing unit. ClairViz's Osprey Smart Factory solution can help the business take advantage by real-time visibility, financial impact analysis, data-driven insights, management KPIs, total productivity management or TPM loss analysis, and alerts and notifications, to name a few very important features. ClairViz Technology Systems, creating
Thank you, Sanjeet.
Thank you, Ranjeev. Thank you very much. I think very insightful, particularly given the challenges that we probably don't see and how to go about the way in automating industrial manufacturing using IoT. Thank you very much. So we'll move to the next section quickly. There's a handful of questions that have come through. The first question has come from Nikhil Mehta. I'll just, it's on the chat window. I'll just read it out for you. Apart from telematics, it is very difficult to make any other use case economically. That is why most of the POCs fail. Projects fail at POC. What will you suggest? How do we proceed with a use case to make it economically viable?
Yeah. So in this, I think if Mr. Nikhil is there, Nikhil, you are there online?
Yeah, I'm there.
We cannot hear you. You are there? Yeah. Nikhil, I mean, I think you have done some POCs and you have some questions to Mr. Pradeep. So, I mean, before we shoot this question to Mr. Pradeep, can you just very briefly say, explain what kind of POCs you have done and what was the cause of failure? Maybe in a minute's time.
Yeah, sure. So, most of the POCs which we are doing are with the telecom operators right now. So, telecom operators are looking to increase their average revenue per user, right? So, they are looking for every sort of data that can be collected. Like a simple example I would take is, waste bin sensors. So these waste bin sensors, you can install it in your dustbins and your big dustbins and collect data. but the sensors are so expensive that it becomes operationally and economically not feasible to conduct, to put these solutions in full scale. So most of these are, POC level, it looks good, but when it comes to actual commercials, it fails.
So one is the dustbin part. Anything else you have done?
Yeah. In the sector of electricity as well. So, when we can automate electricity meters and collect data, but again, the solutions are very expensive. So, automating
I think your company's name is Enrich AI, right?
Enrich AI, yeah. We are dealing into IoT business from last 5 years, and we are primarily working with telecom partners.
Okay.
So yeah. So in the interest of time, I suggest we let Mr. Pradeep give his views.
Sure. Yeah. Nikhil, right? Is Nikhil's asking a question?
Yeah.
Telematics is the most monetized part of IoT. The value proposition is pretty clear. In general, the way you want to approach any problem is not from that technology standpoint. You have to solve a business problem for the customer. What value are you providing? And what are you providing? Does that have value for the end customer? IoT is a tool, a mechanism to make that happen. You are trying to solve the problem of waste bin being full, or the routing, or somebody, the trucks going there and trying to pick an empty waste bucket. And so, does that have enough value? Is what do you want to ask? And IoT is a mechanism to solve that. I will tell you an example of how, let's say, electric cars were for a very long time not a profitable venture till Elon Musk came and completely redefined the problem. He leveraged the advantages of an electric car, which is that it can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4 seconds, and it has minimal parts and stuff like that. So instead of making small time golf cart type things, he just used the technology to build a very high-end car. So you may have to look at places where a high-cost waste bin type solution would make sense, and then start going down the chain. Or you may have to look at providing something beyond just that IoT device into a software solution where this IoT is part of it. And then once you have, cost is again a matter of scale, right? You have to, if you manufacture things and you only make 200 of this, it's going to cost quite a bit. If you make 2 million of this, it's going to come down. So you have to, it's a chicken and egg issue, and you have to kind of attack it from the segment where the cost is not an issue, it's a mission critical thing, and then kind of go down. And I mean, it's the challenge that you're facing isn't anything unique. It is a fundamental challenge of IoT. As I said, there are zillions of things to be connected and monitored, but the product at the right price with the right robustness isn't there. And you have to reimagine the problem. You have to attack it from a narrow angle. You have to add something else where IoT is just simply part of it.
Thank you, Mr. Pradeep, for the.
Thank you, Pradeep.
We have a couple of more questions, but what I see is that some of them have probably already been answered in Mr. Pradeep's presentation. If someone wants to start IoT, a simple and usable product, what are the things to keep in mind? I think both Pradeep and Ranjeev spoke about some of the considerations to get into a particular business and what is the challenges on the ground in terms of scaling and all of that. What is the best language? Is there something that is recommended? I would suppose not, but I would let Ranjeev and Pradeep sir to comment on that.
what is the best language, as in?
I presume it is to ask about the technology language, but I probably it doesn't really matter, isn't it?
It doesn't really matter. There are, again, it's not one system, right? Think of IoT as three different things. Like, there is the hardware, there's the connectivity, and there's the applications. So a lot of different pieces are involved.
Absolutely.
Don't think of it as one monolithic, one particular program written by somebody sitting in, somewhere in a room. So it's just many pieces are involved, and many different languages could be used. Ultimately, would it matter to the customer what language you're writing this in? No.
Yeah.
You should write it in whatever that you're comfortable with.
Thank you. I think in the interest of time, I would request we move to the next topic. There is a question about asking about reverse proxy connection. It's on the chat, so if somebody knows it, somebody has expertise on it, kindly reply to that. And there was one more asking whether there is a moment of, it's another moment for offshoring and all of that. But kindly take it up on the chat channel. In the interest of time, I would request that we move to the next session, which is the Alumni in the Internet of Things domain. So Udupa sir, can you bring up the respective alumni's names so that we can ask? So the first to go is Ranjeev Hurlikoppi from 1984 batch. You have 2 minutes to talk about what you do and what's your interest in this space.
Hello, I'm going to share my screen.
We can see it, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, 1 moment.
Screen already shared, please go ahead, please. There's 2 minutes only. Raju, your slide has been shared already, please.
Frozen.
I'm unable to share it.
We can see it. Please go ahead. We can see your share. We can see your screen. You don't need to share it. Udupa has already shared your slides.
Just continue talking.
Okay. So my name is Ranjeev. I'm native of Hubli. I'm 1984 batch. I am with ENC. My time today is also here on this call with Pradeep. We're working on an app called WonderCard. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Please go ahead, Mr. Ranjeev. We don't have much time. Continue to speak.
Are you seeing my screen or just this thing? I'm not sure which one.
No, it is Udupa who's presenting. Whatever is there in that context, you will have to speak, please. There is not enough time to present.
All right. Okay, I got it. So my company is called HSC Systems. We have come up with an app called WonderCard. So this WonderCard enables exchange between two phones, contact information. So if you go to either App Store or Google Play Store, you should be able to download this app and create a profile for yourself and then exchange contact information with others. I would encourage you to go to Google Play Store or App Store, download this app, search for WonderCard, download this app, and you should be able to create a profile for yourself, create a virtual business card, and exchange the contact information with others with the app.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hurlikoppi. Next is Ramesh Dodamani of 1985 batch. Please go ahead.
Hi, this is Ramesh. I did electronics in 85, and then after that I did an ME in IASC. And then the first few years I worked in the field of electronics, doing hardware design. And then the next 25 years I worked in software, And then the last few years, I retired from software and then got back into my old electronics hobby and design and everything. Basically, now you can say that I'm an electronics hardware designer, consultant, etc. So getting back into this, as far as IoT is concerned, I'm highly familiar. I'm a technical guy, familiar with the hardware, software, and I dabble around with all kinds of electronic things. I construct boards, designs, PCBs, and basically all the people who talked so far, they talked about industry. And I don't have any experience in industry because I haven't worked with, but I am familiar with the consumer devices and I do construct a lot of items at home. So here is a sample of the boards that I designed. And these are our consumer remote control board for IoT. I hope you could see that. So these boards, basically these are all just electronics. So these need to be productized. First of all, one thing that to note is that it's very expensive to make these hardware in India. The Chinese products are very economical. We cannot compete with Chinese products. So if there are people who are interested in making these consumer devices, productizing them, marketing them, people who have expertise, knowledge, please contact. And second thing is industrial IoT. I am very much interested. I was very much interested in control systems for a long time. And if anybody wants, has needs, I'm also looking for industry consultancy work. And if anybody is interested, they can contact me because I am familiar with all the latest IoT hardware and software. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Parkal Suhas Kamath. Please go ahead. Suhas Kamath, if you're there, please. Kindly unmute and introduce yourself. Okay, we can go to the next speaker. Daivik.
Hello. I'm recent date on Surathkal 2018, just before what happened. And as most of you guys seen me in NITKSAA Hyderabad, you are the winners. And this is our product we showcased here. It's an IoT locker device which we have deployed inside NITK Surathkal as of now. And we have processed more than 40,000 orders in a span of 4.5. Still, all the colleges got shut. Right now, we are actually looking for our product to reach to other universities, large campuses, and also we need certain help in improvising our own smart books. Just there was a question that was put up by me, like we need to know more about the reverse proxy connection, also this M2M connectivity to these IoT producer hardware. So if anyone is expertise in this reverse proxy connection and M2M, please connect with me. And also if anyone is a prof or heading in a large university, please get in touch with us so that we can digitize that entire campus and serve the need of students. That's all.
Thank you, Daivik. Wonderful to know what you're doing. I hope you do very well with your venture. Next is Kunal Kulkarni from 2019, yet another youngster. Kunal, can you come and talk about your interests?
Certainly. Good morning.
Yeah,
Am
go
I
ahead.
audible?
Yeah, you're audible. You have 2 minutes. Please go ahead quickly.
Sure.
Thanks.
So, I'm Kunal Kulkarni from the 2019 ENC batch. And I'm currently working as an associate consultant for the NASSCOM Center of Excellence in IoT and AI, Bangalore. So about us a little bit, we are a joint initiative between the Ministry of Electronics and IT, various state governments, and of course NASSCOM. So currently we are operational in 4 cities across India: Bangalore, Gurugram, Gandhinagar, and Vizag recently. So we are an ecosystem enabler for startups specifically in the hardware domain. So, and our focus verticals currently are manufacturing, healthcare, Agritech, and Industry 4.0. So we provide.
Last when he was asking about GDP, this one UK is out of that union, and what about the data center, cloud and all. That I was afraid.
Yeah, Kunal.
Yeah. So in terms of support that we provide to startups in the ecosystem, it ranges from anything across mentoring, go-to-market connects, and specifically we run a incubation and acceleration program in all of our centers. So we also have a state-of-the-art hardware lab at our facilities. So any startup that needs support in, right from the ideation to the POC stage, we sort of handhold them to take it to the market-ready stage. Yeah, so that's about it.
Thank you, Kunal. Wonderful to know that somebody from our alumni is at the NASCOM and you have the startup. Your charter is to build up the startup ecosystem. So that for all of those who are on the call and need the help of getting this, so you can probably reach out to Kunal. We now move to the next agenda item, which is an update from our president, Mr. Basavaraj Deodurg.
Hello, hi, good morning. Happy and safe good morning to all the participants and the core team. Thanks to them, who have been, in this kind of a situation, continue to connect with the people. Thanks to Vijayadas, Udupa, Sujan, Gowda, sir, and Sanjeet Rao. Thanks to Sudhir, Bakshi for coordinating this time at the meeting. And it was a wonderful speech and info from Pradeep as well as Ranjeev. So thanks to them also. As an update of the chapter, our website is on and we need more people to, get on with it and register and connect with your friends. And secondly, the Diamond Jubilee, which was been scheduled for this December, which has been deferred due to the COVID situation. And the third thing is from Bangalore chapter that we had started our NITK Alumni Enclave. So due to the COVID wave, things have been slowed down. Approvals are in progress. So once we get out of this current scenario, the things will move on. So, the past few months that we've been seeing a lot of messages, our good friends we've been losing them. It is very difficult to accept. They're out of this scenario. To bring it to a kind of a situation where we could do some kind of a help to the people. There is a lot of initiatives have been taken place. Not only in Bangalore, outside Bangalore, across the alumni, the association chapters. So one such initiative, Deepak Shetty, a batchmate of mine, was initiated from Delhi, and there is a COVID response team which has been built. A lot of help which has been coming from there. So from Bangalore, we have Kulu, again a batchmate of mine, who has been guiding this process along with the team members, Dinesh and Murali and many more people. So I think it will be nice if I request Srinath Kulkarni, we fondly call him Kulu. It's difficult for me to take his first name. So I request him to take us through, help the people who are in need and try to see, how exactly we will make that little difference at what we can do being in the situation where we are in. Over to you, Kulu.
Thanks, BD. What I would do is probably take the next few minutes to give you an update as to what's going on the COVID front and bring you all up to speed on that. So, as this slide shows, there is a lot of stuff going on. There are many places from where one could get their oxygen support and kind of figure out what to do to deal with this pandemic. We have from Sonu Sood, there's the Hope Foundation from HUL, which also provides oxygen concentrators. There is KVN Foundation, Ola is promising, and so on. There's an ISP alumnus forum which is doing oxygen for Bangalore, and so there are many places where one can get oxygen concentrators. But sometimes it does happen that most of them are either booked or not available, or very challenging to get. So what we started was the Mission Oxygen. So very, very phenomenal response to that we got. What we have done is we have procured some oxygen concentrators. These have come from a company based in Israel. They are 10 liter and 5 liter models. The initial distribution is there is one 10 liter model in NCR. You can see it in the table right next to the photo. And there's some 3-5 liter ones. Bangalore has received 3 units.
Those of you who are not speaking, please go on mute. Kindly go on mute. Thank you.
And then we have in Bangalore about 3 units deployed, 2 of 10 liters and 1 of 5 liters, as you can see over there. And in fact, it's already started doing its work. One of the units is already with one of the father of an alumnus, and it really worked very well for them to help manage an interim times till they get in hospital bed. So people are needing this and using this in many ways. Some people use it for interim before they get hospitalized and they can find a good hospital. Vijay, can you go back to the previous slide? I'll let you know when to do. And then there are some people who are using this for in their convalescence period when they return home from the hospital for a few days. We have kept the process very simple. They just need to fill a form, and after that we take over from there and provide them this the equipment. We take a security deposit of about 9,000, which is actually refundable, and there are some operational charges, which is 1,000, and that's more or less towards consumables that go along with the equipment. So we have tried to keep it as simple as possible. The team is procuring some more units. It is challenging because there are too many players out there and too much of confusion. There are also governmental issues that they need to tackle. But our expectation is to support various cities that we can see or listed out over there. So Vijay, can you go on to the next slide, please? So one of the piece which I would like to talk about is the COVID response team. This is one WhatsApp group which I've seen is hugely active. We have, it all started with the energy of 2 young people. I mean, they were supporting the Delhi team. They were supporting them with oxygen cylinders, the connecting with the doctors, getting the ambulance to the hospital, you name it. I mean, they were doing everything that is required for the people out there. They were saving lives. And I think when somebody like, that happens, then it's kind of contagious in the right way, and that energy spread over. And now we have about 50 volunteers, database verifiers, leads, counselors, crusaders, all of them joining in. And this is the team which is making things happen out there. So this is a WhatsApp group. We are operating from there. I'm giving you the link down below, but please broadcast this link. People need to know that they can approach us. And the earlier they come, we are able to save lives. We are all happy after that. And so that's the important thing. Going forward, we want to make it even more accessible, more easy to work with, and just one hyperlink, fill in a form, and it takes about 8 minutes. And then there's an Asana engine, which manages the entire backup from assigning to follow-up and everything over there. But the most important thing which I want to leave you on this slide is please volunteer to help. I mean, we need people who can do small things, and we can create big effects. So that's what is important. It is very satisfying. And don't think that you cannot help. Everybody can help. Just taking a call of somebody in distress is a help. That's all we want from you. Next slide, Vijay.
Hello, sir. Just a small interruption here. Can you go to the previous slide? Myself, Shivam from 2015 batch. Yeah, sir, 2 things. First thing is this help provided to non-NITK people as well?
See, for a good question. Now, help is help. We do that for everybody. What we have done is we have verified tons of database, which takes a lot of time for any person, when they are in distress. What we are doing is whenever it's an alumni or their immediate family, we go deep dive. We all hands rolled on and on the deck. We support them from everything, from booking the hospital to everything we can do. We try to do that.
Great,
For somebody who's not an alumni or not in a direct family, we provide them all this data that we have already verified so that they can go and do their stuff, without any hassles. So, the priority is alumni and their immediate family. But whatever stuff we have done and created for support, we are very happy to share it with everybody. No issues on that. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, and the second part of my question was, can you just put this broadcasting WhatsApp link in the chat, because we can read it in the slide, but we cannot access it.
Oh, well, then I'll fix that up. So we'll try to. You are from which batch, Subham?
Okay, we will.
2015 batch, sir.
Okay, we'll try to get you there and broadcast that one. Now,
Sure,
this
thank you
is
so much.
one piece which we have been figuring it out while we are supporting people and all those kinds of things. The biggest challenge that we face is getting the hospital beds. And this is a call to action to all of us over here. And we want to do something about it. There is a facility which they talk about 1912, call them, do this, do that. And we do everything, jump upside down, keep calling them, chasing them the whole day. Sometimes we are lucky, sometimes we are not. But what we need is we need to leverage the network that we have. Any alumni who has connect with the hospital management or connect with the IS and IPS officers, political connects, or they have doctor in the family, please raise your hand and come up to the table and tell us that they can help in some way. We are not naive. We will use all these contacts in the best possible way. But we need all these inputs. We need people to come up and help other alumni out there. The other piece which I would leave a thought with all of you is we need to start as an association, build a social capital. Some of the organizations like the Agarwal Samaj, many other charitable places, they have built social capital, and we should do and adopt an ICU or sponsor an ICU. So these are some of the things which I would like to leave the
Kulu, this is
table with, but we really need contacts in hospitals, in IPS, IS. I mean, this is what we want.
Yes, smile.
And smile, of course. Kulu, you have that good smile there. Lovely. Thank you so much.
Okay, good.
Udupa sir, you are not there?
I'm there. Please go ahead.
Yeah, with that, we come to the Basavaraj sir. You're done, right?
Yes, Sanjeet. Please take over.
Yeah. So, Udupa, I hand it over to you for the concluding remarks. I thank the speakers today, Mr. Pradeep and Mr. Ranjeev. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Sanjeet and Sudhir, for coordinating this show.
Thank you.
Very well. And thanks to the speakers, Mr. Pradeep and Ranjeev, joining us and giving very good information. And thanks to everyone. And let me come to the last part of this one with some feedbacks to us. And we also want your feedback on what type of topics to be involved in the next few meets. Okay, thank you. So all of you be ready. We have around 55 people on the call now, and be ready with that. One of the windows can have slido.com and enter there as a participant without the hash 19May2021. Okay, be ready so that you can answer questions. Are you seeing the first question on the screen? How was the overall session today? It is one word. Please go ahead and post it. You have to press the button send. Hello. Slido.com. Enter it with the code 19May2021. Wonderful. Okay, one person answered out of 55. So this is the way we are trying to get everyone digital. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Because more people tell the same word, the word grows.
We're just blogging.
Okay. Please go ahead. Quick. Another few seconds. Only 6, 8. Good, 10. There are 54. you can join the slido.com, go to and put that code 19May meet, and you will see this in the question and answer, not in the question and in the survey. Okay, good. We have 16 of them. Stay tuned. I am going to the next question. This is one word, and next it will be, you can write a sentence of your own. Okay, anything you want as a feedback to us, please write it a sentence. It will appear there. Go ahead. One word was over. You can have a sentence now. More than word. One word. Okay. 4 only. 5. Slides. Okay. Good. Fantastic. Go ahead. Go ahead quickly. So we had a very good important topic today. Kulu and Basavaraj told. I think it's a crisis of the hour in India especially. So we took a little more time. Otherwise, we normally finish on time. It's okay. Thanks for your time. Everyone stayed up to the last minute. Okay, we have 22 of you. Now the last question for today. There are so many options for you. You can choose any one of them, 5 of them, not one, 5 of them, and send it so that the top one comes on the top here. Go ahead and answer. Okay, you have to go through all the list before picking the 5. I can understand. There are some 15 items. Some of them may not be pure tech, but at the time, this time, because of the pandemic, maybe people wanted to talk about something different than technology. So we can bring it. Okay, good. The top 4 are there. Okay, as you type in, you see the result on the screen. Excellent. Only 15 out of 54 have replied. Please put your votes. Good. I will keep it for some more time. 22 only. 50% are in the survey. Thank you very much. 26 of you. Okay, I'll stop there and we go to the next. Okay. Right. Okay, thank you very much. And last but not the least, today's coordinators. Thanks. A big round of applause for Sanjeet and Sudhir. Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And put on your videos on the screen for the photograph now.